Cambodia, located in Southeast Asia, is a country that has seen decades of war, genocide, and poverty. In the late 1960s, due to an escalation of the Vietnam conflict, the American government started a secret 4-year-long carpet bombing campaign. Most experts estimate that 100,000 Cambodians lost their lives, with an additional 2 million people becoming homeless. In 1975, after the existing Cambodian government was overthrown, the Khmer Rouge, under the leadership of dictator Pol Pot, took over the country. It hopes to create an atheistic utopia. All religion was banned. The Khmer Rouge government arrested, tortured, and eventually executed anyone suspected of belonging to the former government, professionals and intellectuals, including anyone with an education, people who spoke a foreign language, and even people who required glasses. Bullets were scarce and considered sacred. Therefore, most victims were beaten to death. In some cases, babies were beaten and thrown against trees. 4 years of genocide resulted in a loss of 25% of the Cambodian population. It is estimated that somewhere between 1.5 and 3 million people were killed. In the following years, war continued on. It wasn't until the late 1990s that peace finally reached Cambodia. The scars in Cambodia run deep. After years of killing, mass murder, and neglect, every person in the country has been tragically affected in some way. Cambodia is the land of hunger, orphans, poverty, and child trafficking. We decided to make a difference. We decided to go boots on the ground.
I am Greg Wark, and I'm with the Boots on the Ground Cambodia. We have traveled over 20 hours in the airplane, and we came into a heat that you just can't imagine. We just exited the airport, and there were about 25 little children that were there that we're going to be ushering around. This is the whole reason we're here, my friends, and that is to minister to these young children and to try to give them a sense of hope for their destiny and their future. All of us sense God's call to put a prophetic word in the ground here, and maybe these children, 1, 2, 10 of them, are going to pick that up, and they're going to do something significant to change their nation. Welcome to Cambodia. We're right now in a tuk-tuk, headed into the jungles to meet with a bunch of kids who are in very difficult surroundings, and it is coming in sheets. We are miring down and probably going to end up walking, humping, hoofing through the mud and water till we get to that village.
This is Love Without Boundaries school in this rural little town. It's taken us hours to get here in the pouring rain, but it was so exciting to actually be on the ground here and see what these little children have to endure on their journey to school every day. I have brought my niece with me, Frances, and she's going to do an exercise with them in a few minutes, but I'm going to hand it to Amy right now so she can tell you a little bit about how this school came about.
So we're here in Sakham Village, Cambodia. It's a rural part of Cambodia. And I want to introduce, this is Lang. He's the director here. And he's the one that told us about this village. And before we got involved, the kids had to walk 10 kilometers if they wanted to go to school, about 5 miles. So a lot of the parents wouldn't let their kids go just for safety reasons. So thanks to your all's support, we were given the funding to build this school right in the village, so the kids have a school right where they live now. We already have 65 kids enrolled in the school and more wanting to come. So it's all because of your support, and we're just so grateful.
These children are desperate for somebody to help them. You can either turn away or you can actually help, and we need your help.
The school that you support is now planning to take one of these tuk-tuks every day for the purpose of taking the kids to school, giving them a hot meal, and ultimately trying to extricate them from that environment. So Lang, tell the people a little bit about what we're going to see today.
So you guys will see the jungle and a lot of house that you never expect, and you cannot believe that you cannot live in those houses anymore.
We believe that our trip here is not just a trip to help some people and then go away, but rather a trip to plant a prophetic seed that's going to result in someone being raised up to lead this nation out of a condition that was brought upon them decades ago. This is the village where most of the children that attend the school that you support come from.
You know, in Cambodia, it's such a welcoming country. Everyone in the village now knows about the school, and so every time, you know, that I've been here and come to a home, they've always been so happy to have us come in. Rainy season is 6 months out of the year here, which is another reason why this village is so remote, that they couldn't get to a government school, which is why we brought school to them.
We're going to take you into the homes of these individuals. We're about to enter into some places you've probably never seen before. This is our first home we're visiting, and of course this is the courtyard, and there's little trees that look like fence posts. Houses are built up so that during this monsoon season the waters don't rush under and ruin the homes. And so if you look around, you're going to see a bathtub right here. This is where they wash the children. That's providing them with drinking water. And they all live in this metal shed up here.
We decided to set up foster care here because in Cambodia right now, if a child's orphaned or abandoned, they usually get sent to the capital city to go into an orphanage. And we just believe that no child should grow up in an orphanage. And so we started foster care here with full approval of the government. And this is one of the babies in our foster care program. And the beautiful thing is that the foster parents we chose, they have fallen in love with this little baby. And so of course it's our prayer that they're going to want to make baby Aurora their daughter forever.
One of the areas that we've worked in for quite a long time is stopping trafficking of children. We've come up close and personal with it while we've been here. And Amy, you want to speak to that a little bit?
Sure. When we first got involved here, pretty quickly, the government asked us to get involved with the issue of trafficking since it's such a huge issue along the border region.
It's important also that you know that one of the children that we came across today couldn't have been more than 1 year old. So we're talking about, you know, you think of children being trafficked, I can't even imagine some of the reasons these devious people will do this.
Well, there's something very special happening in this classroom right now.
We have set up inside one of the Sockham Village classrooms a little mini toy store since the kids don't have a lot of toys. And so every child is going to get to come and go shopping today, and they get to pick 2 items for themselves. Here we go, we're going to let them go shopping. There's no adoption from Cambodia, which we pray every day will change, but at the moment there's not. This is little Orion, and this is little Ivy. And so they're in our foster care program, and they have a wonderful, wonderful foster mom who takes care of them. When you give, It's not going into some big black hole. Every single penny that you all give ends up going to these kids. Thank you so much.
Wherever you put your money, you put your life. You work 8 hours a day and they give you a check as a result. That means that your life was given for that money. So when you plant that as a seed, literally you're planting your life in whatever it is you're planting it, whatever ground it is. And one of the things that the House of Destiny has been extremely good at is making sure, because we put boots on the ground, that the things you plant your seed into, where you sow your seed, is in fact doing exactly what it's intended to do.
We don't want to come in and do this one-time quick flash in the pan kind of project. We found this village, I believe, fully from God that no one else was working in, and we want to make a commitment to these kids. We want to raise up the next generation, and the only way to do that is through education. I mean, we want to be here for the long haul. We're seeing people coming to this village knowing that their kids can have a chance, and that just speaks volumes to what's happening here.
We have joined forces with Love Without Boundaries. We want to combine our efforts and actually make a difference in children's lives. And so this piece of property was bought with funds from all of you out there. Love Without Boundaries has taken the money and they have built this school.
On the first day that we did enrollment, we started doing heights and weights on the children. And 75% of these kids didn't even make it onto the growth chart. They were so chronically malnourished, and their hair was blonde, so thin. If you don't have food, how can you learn? The next step that we took was we built a kitchen house. We asked the kids after about a month, we said, what do you think? Are you liking the hot lunch program? And several of the kids said, I eat as much as I can at lunch because I know I won't get dinner or breakfast the next day. So it's making such a huge, huge difference in these children's lives. It truly is a success story.
Jesus said, feed the children. And we are actually feeding them because you can't tell someone there's a God that loves you and their stomachs are empty. We are spreading the gospel by feeding and helping care for children to start with. And then comes the next step, which is to teach them about the good news. And so we just want to encourage you all out there to take part in this. It's an opportunity that I don't think you want to miss. Go ahead and give your offering, and it's just going to be used in such a good way. We are going to make a difference in the lives of these children.